So, folks, the hurricane not only impacted people's lives, but also left a visible mark on our environment, especially our trees. Images of trees looking burnt flooded our screens. Are the trees dead? Can they recover? Here to inform is Chief Executive Officer and Conservator of Forests, Mr. Ainsley Henry. Morning, Mr. Henry.
Morning, Sir Henry.
Good morning.
Hope your family all right?
Yes, my family is fine.
Beautiful.
Thank you very much.
I think last time I read a couple of months ago that we are covered, if that's the word, by about 40% of forests in Jamaica. Is that?
Well, before Melissa, it was 47.9%.
47.9.
Yes.
How bad and how many? I don't know if that's the right word again. How many forests would be in the area that were badly hit?
Well, what I can tell you is that Jamaica has somewhere in the region of 523,000 hectares of forests, and the hurricane impacted 270 something.
Wow.
So what we're looking at is 51% of the forests in Jamaica have been damaged.
I know what the word means, but what do you mean this time when you say impacted?
Well, you've seen some of the images. What we mean is that in many instances, there are a lot of trees down. The leaves have all been blown off. Some of them have been broken and destroyed. We're looking at a significant impact on the forests across the western side of the country.
Yeah, the running question, even online, is the browning that we're looking at with the trees. People are thinking, oh, it looks like a wildfire happened. Are the trees dead? Will they, restore themselves, regenerate? We're going to have to cut them down and replant?
Well, we're fortunate. Jamaica is resilient, and so are forests. So some of them will recover. It depends on the type of tree. Not all trees have the same ability, but those that will, we expect that within the next couple of months, you'll start to see some sprouting coming, and some of them will come back. Unfortunately, that's not the same for all. Palms, for example, if the central spike, the heart leaf, if you will, in the middle, if that is broken, the palm is dead. So if you've got palms in your yard and you see that is broken, it doesn't make any sense waiting, you just take that out. Other trees like mahogany or cedar, those have the capacity to re-sprout and to put out additional shoots. So it's not all bad news, thankfully. The resilience is there, and one of the things that we are hoping to do over the next couple of months is to increase that resilience by transitioning from some of the introduced species like Caribbean pine, which was here significantly. You'd have seen a lot of those come down. So our intent is not to replace them with new Caribbean pine, but to actually replace them with more hardy native species.
But the browning, though, I'm so sorry, Nevs, but the browning, Sir Ainsley, I mean, a lot of people are asking why, what happened? Is it some salt that was brought onto land, or?
250 miles per hour gusts and 180 odd miles per hour sustained winds. That translates into, it's like if you can imagine anything rubbing against your skin that fast, it burns. Same thing for the trees. So a lot of the browning that you see is actually a burn, but it's a wind burn.
Okay. I don't know if it comes under your purview, but tell me about Holland Bamboo.
It doesn't, but It doesn't. Holland Bamboo is more the Parks and Gardens Division of Ministry of Agriculture. But essentially what happened there is bamboo, as you know, is not a native species, and it isn't designed to withstand this kind of wind. So a lot of them would have broken and fallen down, and because of how they were planted with, you could see a lot of the root part sticking out along the edge because it was cut through a channel almost. So all of them would have been subject to the potential of falling over, and in many instances, that's what happened.
They can come back?
I anticipate that if they clear out the space properly and replant, then it should regrow and look similar within a couple of, maybe 2 years.
2 years?
Yes. I mean, bamboo is a grass. It grows very, very fast, so we can expect significant growth in a year once the area has been properly prepped. But it will take a couple of years before it looked anything like it did before.
So what do you guys do now? You just wait and see what will come back and what won't, or you start to plant again? What's the deal now?
Well, the very first step is to do a rapid assessment. So we're in the midst of doing that, trying to understand exactly what has been damaged and how much damage has been done, trying to get an indication of the mix of species that are within that space, because as I said, it depends on the species. In addition to that, we've been working with some of our multilateral partners. The Chinese government, for example, have offered to provide satellite imagery to us, which is great. So one of the things that we're looking to do is to get a proper handle on the damage. Coming out of that, we'll have reforestation and replanting plans, and in some instances, some of the things that we'll have to do is go into the forests and take out the branches that have been too severely damaged to allow the tree to expend its efforts into recovery.
Yep. Strange question. What kind of trees in the forest?
What kind of?
Yeah, every single thing in the forest?
Not every single thing, but I mean, it depends. Carpet country, for example, is a hotbed of biodiversity, as you know. And so we've got all sorts of trees. We've got timber trees like mahogany and cedar there. We have what we call wildlife trees like wild ackee or blue bush, or other trees that birds will feed on. In fact, as I mentioned that, I should mention that one of the things we've noticed is that as a consequence of the hurricane, the palms, especially the native palms that remain, are a primary source of food for the birds. So we're very lucky that that many of the palms stood up. You know, a lot of the fronds, the branches, if you will, got torn off, but the fruits remained. So that's good. But in addition to that, we also have shorter trees and shrubs and vines and everything. So our forest is a very, very diverse ecosystem.
Okay.
What is the soil looking like now, though, for replanting? People may think that it's too damaged right now to start that process.
Well, it's never too early to start replanting.
Yeah.
That is the first thing. But in terms of the soil, I don't actually have details as to what the condition is right at this moment. I do know that in some places there's been significant landslides, and because of that, there is some amelioration that's going to be necessary. We're going to have to figure out exactly what plants to plant, where to plant them, so on and so forth. All of that is being assessed by the agency now, and it's our hope that in the next 2 months or so, we should have a better idea of how and what it is that we'll be doing. Of course, at that time, we'll be looking for the support of all Jamaicans, not just in the urban spaces and not just on the east where there was little damage, but also on the west. But we know that we have to.
When you say support from Jamaicans, what do you mean?
In terms of going out and doing planting programs, because we're going to have to replant some of these trees, and you know, making sure that even now as we're clearing, we don't just whole-scale cut down everything, because that's a retrograde step as well. If the tree isn't too badly damaged, we should try and save it.
And for those that have fallen, though, how can we best utilize those?
Well, it depends. If it's a good lumber tree and you have the ability to recover it, would say do that. If it's not, and you have the capacity to like chip it up and use it as mulch, I would say do that. If not that, for some people in some places, I'm pretty sure that there'll be some charcoal made out of some of it. As a general rule,
Furniture, maybe?
Furniture in some instances. That's what I mean. If they're good lumber trees, then I expect them to recover the lumber and use it for multiple purposes: furniture, housing, other things.
And what's available right now through the Forestry Department for persons who want to start that replanting process right now? You have any trees or any,
We do have trees
available? Yeah.
We're very fortunate. The majority of our nurseries weren't badly impacted. In fact, the major damage that was done to the facilities of the Forestry Department was actually our office in Catherine Hall. We were in that space, and so we're completely flooded out.
Oh, wow.
Final question. You did say the bamboo might take 2 years. The forests?
5 years, maybe.
5 years. To get back to where it is now, or where it was before?
To look better. Not to, you see, if it's a closed broadleaf forest, which is our primary forest kind, it will take some time before it becomes as diverse and as healthy as it once was.
5 years.
5 years is a conservative estimate, I think.
And we pray that in between all of that, because we're probably going to get...
Another one? Yeah.
Well, hopefully we won't, but we might get some.
Knock on wood and everything else.
Let me tell you.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming,
Thank you
sir.
very much for having me.
Thank you so much. CEO and Conservator of Forests, Mr. Ainsley Henry. Up next, we look at the impact of Melissa on Jamaica's wildlife. Stay with us.